It's not going to be so much progress on the old Maico engine today, I'm afraid. Basically, when I stopped filming yesterday lunchtime, the job was to put the clutch cover on, and it was all going to be plain sailing from there. But unfortunately, I believe there's been a couple of decisions that I made that have come back to bite me, and it's going to be a bit more of a long process to resolve it than anticipated originally. So where we're at the minute is as follows: put the clutch cover on, and then at that point the engine wouldn't turn over, which was obviously a bit of a disaster. So then took the clutch cover off and put the kickstart on the shaft, and it would turn over a bit, so, but it definitely wasn't free moving, and it would turn over a bit and then it would stop, and then you could turn it back and then it'd turn over a bit and then stop. So I started the process of taking bits and pieces off to get it to turn over again. And basically what I believe the two decisions were that have come back to bite me are: one, ignoring the shimming instructions on the gearbox. So that was pretty sure a definite disaster. And the second one was to not use a crankcase gasket. My original plan was to use one, but if you remember, the gasket that I got was wrong. So I believe that the two crankcases have pressed together too closely, and then I've not shimmed it, so there's not enough movement in. I believe it's only what they call the lay shaft, which I would always call the output shaft. So it's the shaft which the front sprocket attaches to. So the actual drive output shaft is what I would say. There has to be a bit of movement, a bit of play in that shaft, which I'd ignored. And I think there's not enough play. And then when I've tightened the clutch up, basically it's pulled the main shaft, and then we've got some gears catching, which is what's caused it to not turn over. And then now I've slackened everything off, and this, that and the other. Like I say, it is turning over now, but it's not as free moving as I'd want it to be, and so that's gonna steal horsepowers, which we don't want to do. Obviously, we want as much horsepower as possible out of the engine. It's going to be a race bike, so so what I think the right thing for me to do is, and although it's going to be more work, I'm going to source a new gasket set, correct gasket set. The guy that I bought the other one off is telling me that he's got it advertised as a 77 and on 440 gasket set, and in 10 years he's never had a problem. But clearly it's totally different to this. I know that this is a 77 engine. I've checked all the engine numbers out and this, that and the other. So yeah, so I'm going to source a new gasket set, and then once I've got that gasket set, I'm going to strip this back down again, and we're going to shim the gearbox up properly to make sure that we've got enough clearance, and then everything should be a bit more free moving, and everything should be a lot better. So let's hope that that is the case, and it's going to take a back seat for a couple of days while I get these other gaskets and this, that and the other. So I'm going to work on something else, and we'll come back to this shortly. So sorry about that, guys, and I should have really understood more about what it was saying in the manual. Unfortunately, the manual pictures, they were in German. And there were pictures, but I didn't really understand the German meaning. I managed to find a Haynes manual with some better pictures and explanations in last night, and I now fully understand what the issue is and why it needs shimming. Obviously, you don't need to do this with more modern bikes quite the same, because they've got the manufacturing tolerances down a bit better than they did do back in the mid 70s. So there we go. We'll move on. We'll get some of the jobs done, and we'll come back to this when we've got the bits that we need. Please like this video and subscribe to my YouTube channel. Just search Phoenix Motos.